Welcome to Beyond the Scale True Healing. Today we're talking with Adrian, who happens to be Stephanie's husband and has been carnivore for almost 1 year. Welcome, Adrian. Thank you for talking with us today. Tell us a little bit about your health and how you came to this way of eating, if you would.
Okay, well, hi everyone. Hope everyone's doing well today. It started this whole journey about 5 years ago. Stephanie and I were in a very awful place for eating, we'll say. We just ate whatever was in front of us. It was pizza Friday nights and, spaghetti dinners and just all the bad things that we were eating. But Stephanie had started basically on the journey on her own. She got to basically a plateau. So I figured, all right, well, being the helpful husband that I like to consider myself, I said, I'll join with you and we'll kind of do it together. And it just started off basically calorie counting. And then we went into keto and then basically found ourselves in carnivore. And it's been almost a year now. It's about this time last year, give or take a few weeks, that I've been carnivore.
And
so this is where we're at now.
Are you strict carnivore, or you're still having some carbs several days? Or
There's almost zero carbs that I have right now. Carnivore, depending on your definition, I guess what carnivore is. I know there's a lot of carnivores that don't use basically sweeteners or any kind of sweeteners, but I do have a little bit in my morning coffee, but really that's about it. The rest of it's butter, fat, meats, chicken, fish, dairy, a lot of cheese, sour creams, that kind of thing.
okay, so sorry. What's a typical day of eating for you? Are you having several meals a day or only one? How do you handle it?
No, well, really, this has been an experiment of one for me and Stephanie. Being a marathoner, which I'm constantly training, usually 4 days a week I'm running. If I'm not training, if I am training, it's usually 6 to 7 days a week that I train. But usually in the mornings, it's coffee with heavy whipping cream. I'll have a lunch, which is usually a pound of beef, and then a dinner, which I'll also have another pound of beef, be it ground beef, steak, ribs, etc., that type of thing. But lately I've been having some issues in my longer runs, which, depending on what your definition of longer run is, for me, it's anything over 10 miles that my legs were becoming very heavy. I was not able to get past it. Now, I do not use any kind of carbs. I do not use any kind of fuel other than my own body fat while I'm running, other than water and electrolytes. So we've decided to increase my protein intake by an extra 40 grams, I think it was, that we're going to add right now.
So it's around like half pound of protein more of beef, basically.
Yeah, I think it's almost going to be almost a full pound. So what we're going to do is we're going to go for more lean protein. So we're going to add some chicken breasts on my training days right now to kind of see how that helps.
Okay.
So we're looking at adding 2 6-ounce chicken breasts right now on training days to see if that helps any with my endurance and the feelings I get in my legs when I'm running.
And you're planning to eat them like when during the day? Because if you eat additional protein just before you go to run, you will be exhausted.
You're right. So what we're doing is a lot of runners, which they do the carbo loading the day before. So I'm going to do my protein loading the day before. So the day before, I'll have breakfast, which is going to be, and that's the other thing I guess I should add, is I'm going to add a third meal. So I'm going to have breakfast, which is probably going to be around 4 to 5 eggs. I'll do my standard, 1 pound of beef. And then in the evenings when I get home and have my supper, it's going to be the 2 chicken breasts. So that extra protein hopefully will help during those longer training runs.
And are you planning on the morning of the day of the run to have like a full fat intake just before starting running?
No, so every day that I run in the mornings, I usually run fasted. So that's very normal for me. I don't require anything on my morning runs for fuel because I still have plenty of leftover, body fat and meals from the day before to make the runs.
Trying to see if we can strategically use gluconeogenesis. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if it'll work, but we're going to see if that works for him.
I don't know, but most probably he will go and take some fat from his own body fat.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing when I got back into running, because we were so heavy and we were so unhealthy. I had gotten out of running for so long and I started running again. The problem was that I was using a lot of my own muscle mass in training. So it was that old adage, just eat more carbs, eat more food, that type of thing while I'm running. And when Stephanie discovered Carnivore and she started leaning more that way, I thought it might be something better for me. I started doing a lot of research, and I usually bounce it off of her to get, her opinion on where I would be. And of course, being the way she is, she researched it a lot better than I ever could. But she helped quite a bit, and being carnivore has really helped in my running and my training.
Okay.
It's actually helped me knock about 10 minutes off of my half marathon time.
And if you're expecting to do some like carb loads, like the normal runner, the non-carnivore runner, why you didn't think about having dairy the day before? Because it will be a load of carbs as well. And when you want to play with mTORs to build muscles, it can be good to have carbs, like with dairy, like whey or yogurt,
Right.
like this.
Yeah.
He eats a lot of dairy anyway on a daily basis. So.
Okay. Because this might help.
Yeah, he gets his carbs from
having the carbs from the carnivore diet,
Right.
Yeah. So a lot of it, my dairy is the heavy cream, a lot of cheese. So I'm not opposed to any kind of dairy intake.
Okay, and you're not sensitive to it.
Adding eggs will help too, because there are a few carbs in eggs. So
beef liver as well.
Oh, he likes beef liver.
I do.
Yeah, and it's
3
grams.
I do like the organ meats. I know Stephanie does not, but I find them very good.
So it's good.
We're
because
trying.
you got 3 grams of carbs in 100 grams of beef liver.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot.
I wanted to ask Adrian, did you have particular health concerns or issues that made you also make the decision to try this? And what kind of effects you've seen in healing any of those, if any?
Yeah, well, the biggest concern that I had was GI issues in my runs. You get out there and you're 6, 7 miles out there and you've got 6 or 7 miles to come home. And then all of a sudden you have a GI issue. I found out that it was, even if they say it's gluten-free, but everything that's in carbs, basically, that was the problem that I was having. I found out when I started going carnivore and it was just meat, fat, dairy, that type of thing. I didn't have that issue. So it just, my gut was able to relax and not try to, I don't know, overwork or whatever the causes may be when all those carbs were sitting in my belly and getting juggled around, I guess, on my long run. So that was an issue that I was always trying to overcome.
And knee pain.
Yeah, knee pain was a big one. Because as soon as you think knee pain, oh, well, he's a runner, that's why he has knee pain. Once I started on carnivore and I eliminated just basically all the fruits, the vegetables, the grains, I have no problems with my knees now. I can, this morning I did 11 miles and I had no issues with my knees.
That's
Okay,
amazing.
which kind of food of shoes do you use? Like some kind of barefoot shoe, running shoes, or normal one?
No, just normal or cushioned running shoes. Yeah.
Brooks, usually.
Yeah, I like the Brooks. They fit my feet very well. I've gone through several types of shoes. I've gone from New Balance to Hoka to Brooks, and Brooks really seems to be the best fit for my wide foot.
Okay. Okay, can I ask you both a silly question? And if you don't want to answer, I will just cut it when I will
I'm
edit
scared.
Me too. I'm nervous now.
Because you are both here on the camera, can you tell us a little bit more how the libido changed switching to carnivore?
Well, what, a little now? There's definitely a change, and I don't know if it's healing those sex hormones or just feeling more confident, less anxiety, more energy. I think that all kind of plays into it. So
Good answer.
yeah.
Nice improvement, so.
Yeah.
Great.
It makes a difference when you feel good.
Yeah.
When you're getting exercise and you're, in the sun and your body's getting the right fuel, it changes everything, including that, I think.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I just wanted to say about the, I have done long distance kind of speed walking for years and years. And it was interesting to hear you say that, you feel better kind of just going out there fasted. And I always did too. If I ate anything, even if it was carnivore, I was very uncomfortable and found that, even if I go out at 10 in the morning and walk for 2 or 3 hours, I still feel great by the time I get home. It was such a huge change from, feeling all that in your belly. And I had, a Crohn's disease. And so I had many times that I was out far away and had issues, just like you were describing. So yeah, I totally relate to that.
That was always one thing. As I mapped my runs around town, I was always in the back of my mind, where is the nearest restroom, just in case for an emergency. So that I always was in a mile or two of a restroom. So just in case of such an issue. Yeah. But now with the carnivore, I don't have those issues anymore. I can run out there into the back country and I have no problem about running out there 6, 7 miles, turning around and coming home. So the only thing I worry about is getting lost.
Yeah. And on the side of like running stuff, which is a lot of cardio, do you do some resistance training to?
I do. So right now I'm basically in a maintenance kind of mode. Long runs I'll do on Sundays. I do meet a running group early in the morning in town. We'll do 4 miles. That's 2 days a week. I run on my own 2 days a week, and then I take one day off, and then I have 2 days that I do weightlifting. And it's not heavy weightlifting, basically, 15, 20 pounds. Just trying to keep the muscle mass up. I do work out my legs, so I will do squats and that type of thing also.
Right.
So I will ask this. My husband has just finally decided to join me also in changing the way that he eats, because we tested his blood sugar a couple hours after eating the other day, and it was 150, and I almost
Oh my.
died. So, not that we haven't suspected this all along, because he eats, just he's a standard American diet. So
Sure.
I guess my question would be, your best advice maybe to him, that was maybe something that helped you in the very beginning when you were just trying to get off the stuff, and were you able to just go cold turkey and get off the carbs and process stuff, or was it more of a kind of gradual thing for you?
And yeah, that's an excellent question, because some people are cold turkey. It was a very long process for me. So let me explain how I used to eat, and that'll give you an idea. First, it was early mornings, up at 4 a.m., 4:30, going to work. I would stop, get the big sweetened coffees and, the donuts, and end up going to work, and I would have second breakfast there. And usually there was, I had my own lunch. So I had that. Sometimes, the company or whoever I was with would buy lunch, so there was second lunch. On the way home, I would have, early dinner, and then I would have dinner, and then I would have my, late evening snack. So, I mean, yeah, I was probably pushing 4,000 or 5,000 calories.
Mostly carbs
Mostly carbs.
and processed food. Yeah.
Donuts, pizzas, hamburgers, just all the really bad stuff for you. But it was a very slow, gradual process. I'm not going to say to your husband, don't deny yourself anything, but you have to make the conscious effort to decide whether or not that's how you want to eat, and is it good for me? How is this going to affect me? Am I going to feel better after I eat this? Because you get that moment of endorphins through your brain because, oh, this donut tastes so good, or this pizza is so good. The cookies are awesome. But then, of course, you get that crash, and now you're ready to sleep, and you just completely regret eating it. So it's a slow process. It's not easy. I will say that I am trying to convince everyone at work to lay off the carbs. I stare at them while they're opening up those little wrappers of cookies and things. And I said, do you really want to eat that? Are you sure you need it? Etc. But everyone makes their own choices. But as I explained to everyone, it's a slow process. You have to decide for yourself whether it's right for you.
And since we went low carb keto sort of before carnivore, we also had those keto treats that we used to help us transition. So that was helpful in the long run. It just kept the addiction going. But in that transition period, it was really helpful to have those.
That's really helpful. I think because, it may be very different for a man than a woman. And the only experience I know is mine and from a female perspective. So it's interesting for me to hear from you how it went. And we're kind of starting from the perspective of just getting out some of the processed stuff and, starting in a ketogenic way because he's used to all the flavor, right? And all that. And so I think he tends to get bored easily. So, making some things that are a little spicy and starting with that, I think is going to be helpful. And, but yeah, thanks. That's great advice for sure. I think it's going to be a battle.
And that's an excellent point also. Some people will consider this type of eating boring because you don't have the fries and you don't have the fried food and everything that goes with it. Is it boring? Yeah, it can be. The most that we do have some flavored salts that we got this past week. So, but yeah, for the most part, it's a steak. It's a couple just hamburger patties. It's just a couple pieces of rib or whatever it is that you eat, just plain eggs, maybe some cheese, etc. on top of it. But for the most part, for a lot of people, it's boring. And you can kind of look at it that way, or do you want to think, does every meal have to be as exciting as the last meal? It's just fuel. That's all it is. That's the only thing that you're doing is just fueling your body to keep it moving and to keep it healthy.
Yeah. We've gotten the habit of making food in general an event and something that we have to be, that we just look forward to so much and has to be so enjoyable and so pleasurable. And it should be enjoyable, but that doesn't have to be the thing. Like that shouldn't be the highlight of your day. It is just fuel. Although the other night, Adrian did say to me that he misses carbs. I said,
we all do, Adrian.
Do you?
It's always in the back of my mind.
Do you miss the carbs and the way you felt on carbs, or are you just feeling bored and snacky? And he was.
It's bored and snacky. Yeah, it's bored and snacky. That's all it is.
It's go get the pork.
And I would say
you'll be fine.
It's for us, it was so attached to a nighttime ritual.
Oh yeah.
Of sitting and watching whatever and just all the things, and that's been really hard for me to break away from, and I know it's going to be for him. And attaching so much to what are we going to eat, what are we having,
but it would be maybe more easier for him because you're eating this way, and so you won't bring to the house the crappy food that he was bringing to your house when you were transitioning. So I think if there is nothing to eat instead of meat, okay, you go with it.
Yeah, and that it's an excellent point. Doing it as a team is always a lot easier than trying to accomplish the mission on your own. So, I mean, if you have the support system around you, and it's going to be hard at the beginning. So, there's always going to be the little snacks that are still left over that will slowly start to disappear. And then you can start to replace those with better and healthier choices. It'll come easy.
Yeah. And I would just say, every lapse or binge I have had has been in relation to, things that have been brought in the house that I wouldn't have here. you know, if I were alone. So I am very excited for this. Like,
Yeah.
this is going to, you know, I'm excited because I've been, you know, terrified about his health. You know, I know that he's insulin resistant and, you know, has a lot of inflammation and autoimmunity. And so I'm happy in that way, but I'm also happy to have a partner in it finally. And yeah, to not have that stuff still laying around, because it is like nails on a chalkboard sometimes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll simplify your life for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And not cooking 2 meals, you know.
Yeah.
Excellent point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
having
good.
stuff prepped for me all the time, but then, oh, what's he gonna
And
eat
to
today?
make this a success for him, you might want to cook more and to elaborate more carnivore meals, and it will be enjoyable for you as well.
I think that wraps up today's interview with Adrian. To everyone watching, thank you so much for your continued support of our channel. Please take a minute to like, share, comment, click subscribe, and turn on notifications. Don't forget, you can join us for live meetings and special guest speakers when you subscribe to Heart Carnivore on the Mighty Networks for just $10 a month. That link, along with all the ways that you can contact us, will be listed below. Thanks again for being here. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.